too many companies have gotten comfortable with releasing slop. They know that people will line up to purchase their products, and unfortunately, Pokemon is the next game on the block that people were excited for, but came out and is facing absolutely disastrous scores because these developers didn't create a high quality product. I have a few different things to show off, but before I get into the topic, if you enjoy the content I create, check out the links in the description, join the community in my live streams, and consider supporting through Patreon or YouTube memberships. Now, I love Pokemon just like so many people out there, and so I was relatively excited for this, but the closer we got to release, the less excited I became after seeing how the game looks like it's still rendering. Every building is like a cardboard cutout. You have what seems to be Chat GPT level dialogue with "I'm sick and tired of this life, I just want to smell Pokemon," and also this absolutely riveting line of dialogue right here. Maybe have your partner Pokemon draw it away, then yeet the package inside while it's distracted. But Pokemon fans, of course, are not happy right now. Just a few weeks ago, we got Digimon Story Time Strangers, which was being compared to Z to A, and that game is doing phenomenally. And while Pokemon, I'm sure, is making quite a lot of money because it's Nintendo, because people have known Pokemon for decades and decades, the scores are not good, and it just goes to show why you can't trust critics, because they will shill for the dumbest shit possible. Now, I've said for years at this point, whenever you're excited for a game, do not play it until you have seen a trusted source reviewing it or playing it themselves. Maybe you're watching your friend give it a go, or there's a YouTuber or Twitch streamer you like who's going to play it. Don't buy it until you've gotten to that point and you actually see that it is going to be a super high quality experience, and generally do not pre-order any games, though this highlights the problem we've all had with critics for years. They are afraid to lose the access that they have within the industry, and so when the Nintendos and Sonys and Xboxes put out games, they generally rate them really high, even if the quality level is really low, because if they say something is absolutely amazing, well, that means in the future they're going to keep their access, they're going to keep getting review codes and early access to games, they're going to get exclusive interviews, they're going to get bonus content, which I think is absolutely disgusting. The reason why I stream games like Pokemon Legends Z to A, or Dragon Age of Veilguard, or Dustborn, or Kill the Justice League is because, first of all, I want you guys to see a game before you have to buy it, so you can see if it's actually worth your money. But I personally do not trust these critics, and I know so many of you do not either, and you shouldn't just have to rely on them in order to get information. I will say if a game is trash, I will say if a game is amazing, but regardless of what I say, it's going to be my damn honest opinion. And I'm not going to be bought off by a company just because I've liked Nintendo games in the past. Doesn't mean I'm going to like every Nintendo game in the future. And if a game is bad, I'm going to say so. And I have been streaming Pokemon Legends Z to A, and it has been pretty freaking bad. While yes, I do generally like the combat system, I still much prefer the old turn-based, and of course, the graphics in this game are not good. The open world exploration, as they like to call it, is not good. I don't really like the design of the map. It's just got a hell of a lot of problems, and the fact that they skip a ton of content in the middle, I'm not going to specify how, is really infuriating, though I'm not the only person who said to themselves, I'm going to give this a go, we'll see what happens, because people who gave it a go are not impressed. The critics score is currently sitting at a 79, which is a far too generous, and the user scores are sitting at generally unfavorable with 704 user ratings, a measly 3.9. This is the best that could be mustered with something as big as Pokemon, which is wild. I'm sorry, my normal rating would be a 4 out of 5, but all of these reviews giving it a 9 or a 10 are literally insane to me. Are we really going to accept mediocrity from the #1 multi-billion-dollar company? This game takes everything from Arceus and backtracks on almost everything they accomplished: a lifeless city filled with 2D JPEGs, a story that literally is as bare bones as you can get, and the hand holding, and for those who say it's marketed for kids, most of the first couple of generations of Pokemon games did not help you at all. You had to figure it out yourself. The real-time battle system is the only thing that saves the game somewhat, but even that is half-baked, which I agree with. I think that the battle system is cool. I just feel like this game needed another 2 years of development time, and maybe it would have come out and been half decent if they upped the level of graphics and quality. They added in some actually cool quest lines, and the story, in my opinion, I believe is AI generated. There's no shot you get dialogue this bad, this consistently, unless it's AI generated or you have the worst cringe localizers I have ever heard, period. Maybe you have your partner Pokemon draw it away, then yeet the package inside when it's distracted. Here are more. You've got, hey, for water type moves, do you think Pokemon use their sweat or other bodily fluids? If the argument is that this is a game for children, Nintendo better look at who's in their ranks. I can feel my Pokemon jostling in their balls when it's time to battle. I'm sick and tired of this life. I just want to smell Pokemon. If I'm upset, giving my partner's Pokeball a little squeeze helps. Like, it can't get any worse. The more I say these lines, the more I feel myself dying on the inside. I think my last brain cell is going to die at this rate. Like, this is legitimate dialogue that is in this game. It's not like these are memes or cringe jokes that people are making. It's serious. That is wild. There are a couple of 8 scores here and 9 scores here saying, oh, I wasn't enjoying the game at first because of the presentation, but I enjoyed the story by the end. But of course, there are far more negatives than there are positives, and most of the positives are 9s or 10s, which are coming from Pokemon shills. And hey, if you really love Pokemon that much, I'm happy for you. I'm glad for you are enjoying the slop that they're feeding you. But for anybody who's ever played another Pokemon game, you can see that this is a downgrade from virtually all of them. I have bought and played every single Pokemon game before this. Scarlet and Violet weren't my thing. The bar was low for this one, however, they still screwed it up so bad the whole world feels empty, without a soul, bland and boring. What an utter disappointment. Do not buy. The textures, especially on buildings, look flat. It's all copy and paste. The buildings are just a box with PNG windows on it. When you compare that to games like Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom, Odyssey, Xenoblade, or even Bayonetta, all on the same hardware, those look vibrant and detailed. Expensive for a game worth $10, no creativity, and almost no life in the game. Everything feels copy and pasted like it was a rush order. Nintendo, do better or lose your fans. And when you compare this to Digimon story Time Strangers, which only released a couple of weeks ago, the scores are wildly different. The critics actually only gave this an 80, but the user score is sitting at universal acclaim 462 with a 9.3, saying this is the type of game we need more of. Absolutely loving it. It's phenomenal. They respected their audiences, and I'm glad that a game is doing so good that at least competes with Pokemon now. I know we've all been talking about Pal World versus Pokemon. At this point, I hope Nintendo has to pay out a big, hefty chunk of change for that lawsuit. I hope that Pal World gets every penny out of them possible. Pal World is so much better, and they actually delivered a high level of quality for a game. And it's just so sad that Nintendo has so much money that they, of course, do not really care about respecting their audiences, because they know, well, we'll be able to bring them back in a couple of iterations and we need to take risks. But in this case, taking a risk is just releasing the lowest level of quality possible. But with Digimon, people are saying things like this game is really good. I think there's a lot of room for improvement here and there, and I think the game from an honest review is an 8. It improves over older titles, but lacking on balance. Hopefully this will give us a Digimon World type of game. The game itself is a testament of how the developers put love and dedication into the game. This is the Digimon game I have always been waiting for. Any fan of Digimon or monster catching games should give this a try. I can say I have genuinely enjoyed it. This game proves that putting real effort into the genre still pays off, and well, it's not paying off critically for Pokemon and for Nintendo, that's for certain, because while, yes, I'm sure that it did sell quite a lot of copies, they are being raked across the coals by gamers for the low level of quality, the okay systems that are in the game, the terrible AI level rating, and just in general, they have infuriated their player base. But that's all that I really had to discuss in this video. Let everyone know your thoughts in the comments below. If you found this important and informative, make sure to give it a like, and if you didn't, give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I'll talk to you all again in the next video really soon.